Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I welcome this bill, which fulfils manifesto promises on which I was elected and demonstrates this government's firm commitment to law and order. I declare relevant interests. Prior to my election, I spent 12 years as a magistrate, was a board member of the Youth Justice Board, member of the Sentencing Council and non-executive director of Her Majesty's Prison and Probation Service. Mr. Deputy Speaker, there are undoubtedly offenders who pose a clear and present danger, and they must remain in prison for as long as it takes for them to cease being a threat to the public. I therefore welcome moves to lengthen custodial sentences for certain very serious offences and to extend the time which must be served before automatic release applies. This, I believe, also represents an important step towards increased public confidence in sentencing, which is not always as transparent as it might be. I want to see fewer victims of crime. Key to achieving that is cutting reoffending, which accounts for some 80% of offences at the moment. Prison isn't always the best place to achieve the greatest prospect of rehabilitation, though. So I'm glad to see pilots of problem-solving courts, and I hope they'll be especially targeted at young adults. I'm pleased that community orders will be made more robust, not least by extending maximum curfew hours to 20 a day. Indeed, I believe that home detention is a tool that we should increasingly look to, as technology continues to develop at a pace that can provide many of the reassurances around security and monitoring behaviour that wouldn't have been possible even 10 years ago. Mr. Deputy Speaker, there are very welcome changes to the youth justice system. Reducing the use of remand in custody for children is the right thing to do. I'm pleased to see changes to the intensive supervision and surveillance programmes, and I support the proposals to make detention and training orders more flexible. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the bill eliminates many anomalies in previous legislation, and I'd welcome the government giving further consideration to one anomaly that I highlighted in my recent 10-minute rule bill, namely that children who commit an offence as a child but turn 18 before getting to court are treated as adults at both trial and sentence. The risk of this happening has been exacerbated by delays caused by COVID, and those delays do vary greatly between different parts of the country, with the result of a postcode lottery that is fundamentally unjust and yet can have lifelong consequences. Now, although there hasn't been time to incorporate my proposal into the bill at this stage, I'm grateful to my right honourable friend, the Lord Chancellor, for meeting me to discuss how, with appropriate safeguards, some of its aims might be achieved, and I hope that the government might still be persuaded that this bill provides such an opportunity. I am confident that could be achieved without conflicting with other very important proposals in this bill. Mr. Deputy Speaker, 3 minutes is a short term to discuss a bill of 300 pages. And of course, I don't claim to have addressed every element of it in my remarks, and nor do I claim that the bill is perfect in every way. But I do firmly believe that it represents a step change to tackle crime more effectively and so make the British public safer.